When we're talking about eliminating toxins, the body needs support. And one of my favorite support products for eliminating toxins is Sulfurzyme from Young Living. Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Minke. This is Minke Wellness. And I've talked a lot about Sulfurzyme in our wellness program so far. We started out the first month with Sulfurzyme and Super C, morning water, and breathing. Those are my four go-to things that these are the things that I turn to no matter what's going on. These are the products I always come back to, or at least the two products are Sulfurzyme and Super C, and then I do my morning water, drink plenty of water, and then I do my breathing. Now, oxygen and water, critical. You're not going to be able to be healthy. You're not going to be well. Your tissues can't cleanse. You can't detoxify. You can't do anything without enough water and without enough oxygen. So those are the basics. And if you forget that, then you just can't supplement those. You know what I'm saying? You can't take a supplement and get enough water or get enough air if you're not getting it before. So that's fundamental. Then the top choice for a supplement is this Sulfurzyme. Now, the name Sulfurzyme, it suggests that there's sulfur in it, and it is. It does have sulfur. It's MSM. And you've probably heard of MSM from a context of joint formulas and things like that. And this is the same MSM. It's methanosulfonylmethane. And I consider it to be nutritional sulfur, okay? Nutritional sulfur. We have to have sulfur. Sulfur is an essential nutrient. Every single protein in the body starts with a sulfur-containing amino acid called methionine. And when we don't get enough sulfur, and I'll talk about sulfur in a minute, we don't get enough sulfur, then the body steals that sulfur from methionine and uses it from methionine, breaks methionine down and uses the sulfur. And that means that we can't produce, fundamentally we cannot produce enough protein in our body. That the tissues that produce a lot of protein, some more than others in different times, but the immune system cranking out a lot of protein all the time. So the immune system tends to go down when we don't have enough sulfur. So there's a lot of different things that obviously sulfur is critical. But this is something that to me, when I supplement this, I've got this nutritional sulfur that gives my body the resources so it doesn't have to steal it from something else. You probably have heard of glutathione, okay? And glutathione is a peptide, a very short peptide that's inside the cells. And that is one of the things that the body uses for detoxifying because it takes that sulfur. So let's talk about sulfur just briefly. So we have to have sulfur for detoxifying. Almost all your metals are detoxified through a sulfur derivative. So it takes that metal, lead, mercury, that kind of thing, and it adds a sulfur to it and converts it into a less toxic form the body can get rid of. There are many other things that are detoxified through a sulfur pathway. A lot of the organic solvents and chemicals, plastics and gasoline and things like that we get exposed to, a lot of those organic compounds, pesticides, pharmaceutical drugs, a lot of them go through a sulfur pathway. If they don't directly go through a sulfur pathway, they indirectly do it through a glutathione pathway. And so we've got to have enough glutathione, and this is basically feeding the glutathione system, okay? It puts sulfur back into the system. This is not just MSM, and you could look at it and go, so, well, gee, I can find all kinds of MSM products. First of all, let me say that almost all MSM comes from China, and I don't really trust the stuff that comes out of China. There's just too much quality control, issues, too much greed going on. I'm not to say there's not greed over here. I'm just saying that the quality control issues are not there. Are not. So Young Living does their job, does their homework in making sure they test every single batch of all the ingredients, and they check it for mercury and lead and pesticides and all these. They do a thorough analysis of the raw ingredients that go into their products, and this is no exception. They test the MSM powder before they add it into it. So this is not just MSM powder, it's mixed with the wolfberry powder. And one of the things that happens when we take sulfur and we helping the body detox is that it pulls other minerals out. So long-term use of nutritional sulfur, MSM in particular, that helps the body to cleanse and get rid of things, also ends up pulling extra minerals out. So we want to add minerals back in. The other thing that's happening in a detox pathway or detox process is we're getting a lot of oxidative stress that comes from these metabolic processes that are happening. As the body converts toxins, it gets damaged from the oxidative stress. The whole toxins in general. When you think of a toxin, typically something that's going to hurt the body, it's hurting the body through a mechanism of causing free radicals. They're free radicals, and they cause the damage, oxidative damage. And antioxidants are what we need. So the amazing thing about this product is, because this feeds directly into the detox pathway, it's fabulous that we have this powerful, potent antioxidant that has an amazing mineral array, and we're talking about the wolfberry, the Chinese Ningxia wolfberry or goji berry, and so this is an amazing product, wolfberry powder mixed with the MSM, and in a capsule form, so it's very available, very bioavailable. They do sell it in a powder form as well. If you're one of those who doesn't like to swallow capsules, or if you have trouble taking a capsule and you feel like it's heavy, or even if sometimes people it upsets their stomach, if you get the powder form and you mix it with water and let it sit for 5 minutes, the MSM will go into solution much better. It doesn't go into solution very well. It's not very water soluble initially. And so when you mix it with water first, it goes in, but it's more bioavailable. And so that might be a product for you. If you're having trouble with the Sulfurzyme capsules, try the powder and see if that works a little better. Now, so let's talk about how to use it in dosages and things like that. Like I said, this is my primary go-to. By the way, if you don't have enough sulfur, you will not have good hair growth. Okay, good skin, good nail growth. And so what can happen if you start feeding the body enough nutritional sulfur is your hair grows faster and thicker, and you have much more sturdy fingernails, and your skin looks better. So it's just something that can happen. Now, MSM has been researched in the physiology, muscle physiology field and in the fitness field, and they originally had hoped that it would be some miraculous product that would build muscle, bulk up, and that because it was working right within the pathway of helping the tissue get its fundamental nutrients. And it turned out not to be any particular boost to muscle production or anything, but what it did do was reduce post-workout soreness. And so people have been using this, and in fact, this MSM and its cousin DMSO are used in racehorses for that same thing, that help them with recovery, that they can recover from a race faster and not have the aches and pains. I'm assuming that racehorses feel the same kind of aches and pains that we do if they exert themselves with strenuous exercise. So this is one of those things that the fitness industry has and the research was fabulous. It's on humans. It's not just on animals. Very, very amazing safety profile. Very safe product. No LD50s for rats. I mean, it's just so non-toxic. Now, there are some people who there's a few rare people out there genetically who have trouble with sulfur and the sulfur pathway, and this causes a big problem for them at a cellular level, because if they're not utilizing their sulfur, then they're not getting enough sulfur to detoxify in today's toxic world. Now, if the world weren't so toxic, especially with metals, then these people probably would be fine. They would just would just avoid high sulfur foods, and they would be able to manage it. In this modern world, with the toxins that we're throwing out there, these people are really, really in trouble. And so my advice to those people who are on a low sulfur diet would be try taking just a very little bit and see if you can. And I would take it in powder form, and I would take a quarter of a teaspoon at a time, maybe a quarter teaspoon twice a day, or even kind of regularly throughout the day. See if your body can tolerate this form. And because we just need to get that sulfur in there, but it has to be delivered in a form that you can use. So that would be my advice for those people who are sensitive. Now, let me clarify that the words sulfur and sulfa are not the same. So some people will say, I'm allergic to sulfa drugs. And they say it so fast that you're not really hearing the difference between sulfur and sulfa. Most people are allergic to sulfa drugs. Sulfa drugs are a class of antibiotics that probably should never have been produced in the first place. Many people have bad reactions to these things. That is not what we're talking about. This is nutritional sulfur. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the zyme part. There are no enzymes in here except for what naturally is occurring in the wolfberry powder. So it's not really an enzyme product, even though it has zyme at the end of it. Now, go on to usage. Now, for me, I take 6 at a time. So I will grab literally a handful of capsules, and this is they look slightly orange. I don't know if you can see color in this video, but I've got 6 capsules, and take that, and I'll do that with my 2 Super Cs, and I'll take that twice a day. During times when I'm detoxing and I'm going through the detox process, which I won't talk about here, I've talked extensively in a number of other videos. But when I'm experiencing that process, I will up my sulfurzyme, and I'll take another 6 and another 6 and another 6. I've taken as many 30 capsules in a day, and I just keep taking it as long if I have that detox headache, or if I have my body is talking to me about the detox process, I'll just take more, and so that's the way I take it. I take it very aggressively. I know people who are taking two in a day. My experience in today's toxic world is the average adult needs at least 4 capsules a day of the sulfurzyme in order to basically break even with the toxicity that's going on an everyday basis. So I don't think you're actually going to experience much benefit if you're taking 4 or less. If you go to 6 or even 8, now that's when people start reporting, that they feel the difference in terms of, like the post-workout pain, and they start to, the discomfort from post-workout. They start to experience some of the things that have long been attributed to MSM in the research. So that's one of those things that, I just advise, try increasing your amounts, especially for people who have a lot of stiffness and especially age-related. They don't move very well, and they're looking for that MSM for joint effects, and they're not getting it with 2 capsules a day. Well, that's not a surprise. They need to go to 8 capsules a day and see what you can do. So like I said, I take it pretty aggressively. Now, I will take it during times also of there is in the research that it can have a positive impact on the sinuses related to seasonal issues. And so if I'm out there mowing and I end up reacting to what's going on in the grass and whatnot around me, then I will go in and I will take an extra 6. And I find that within 20 minutes, I can feel that my eyes calm down and the itchiness and whatnot. So it's one of those things that, to me, I turn to on a very regular basis. It's my go-to if my body is dealing with a foreign material, toxicity. In other words, if my body is experiencing a toxicity, either from inside or from outside, I turn to the sulfurzyme. So this is my primary detox support that I use. Now, there's a lot more we can talk about, but I'm going to leave it at this and say that it's one of my absolutely favorite products. It's one of those that we have on hand, and it's my Fab 4. Okay, my morning water, breathing, and then sulfurzyme and Super C. And this is my basic formula. That's what I go with, and I go from there. I go outward. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. Again, this is the Young Living Sulfurzyme capsules we're talking about, and the wellness benefits I have found to be just tremendous. So I hope it does the same thing for you. And for those people who have and can take this, I get feedback on a regular basis that this seems to be consistent. Okay, happy wellness, one day at a time. We'll see you tomorrow.